it's Mike. Welcome to another edition of Tribulation Ready Survival. And today I'm going to do a project called Bushcraft Spoon. Not one power tool will be used during the course of this. However, I will be using fire. And I'll explain to you how I do that later on. But I'm going to, in my previous video, you saw some of the knives that I put out there for a survival knife. I'm going to use a couple of those, and we're going to have fun making a bushcraft spoon. Let's get on to the video. So we're going to put this, it's thundering, but we're going to try to work through this. I'm going to use this cheap bushcraft knife, the real bushcraft knife, maybe even a razor knife, and my favorite axe hatchet of all times. So, you may want to use gloves for safety reasons. You may want to use gloves. I'm going to forego that because out in the field I won't have gloves with me, probably, at least not for this purpose. I'm not going to expect it. I'm going to make a spoon out of this. And I'm going to show you how to do it. It's a bushcraft spoon. You can even make a fork. Let's go with the spoon first. First thing you got to do is you got to take off all these knots. Trying not to hit the rock. Ooh, hit the... You can actually do it this way too if you want. I prefer not, but... Mainly just taking off the bark and the knots. Always leave yourself extra wood. You can shorten it later. And yes, it is thundering out here. This is probably going to take a good hour, so I'm going to do some editing here, some editing editing here to speed this along. So now that I've got the rough cut, done with this. This can be used for starting a fire. This is a piece of willow. It's kind of a softer wood. Not great burning wood, but nonetheless, it will start a fire. These wood chips, I would save them and keep them in a pile so I can throw them in the fire later. Now, I'm going to show you how to carve the bushcraft spoon. And we'll use fire here in just a little while. But I'm going to use probably a culmination of all three of these knives. The cheap bushcraft, the actual bushcraft, and this razor knife. Okay. So here we are. I now have what's the makings of a spoon. So I have carved it out. It can be as long or as short as you want. It's going to be something like an eating spoon, but you can stir with it too if you want. But this area right here is going to be my spoon where I eat. So I could carve that out if I want to, but that's a lot of work and a lot of detail that I don't want to mess with. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you. I'm going to take a hot coal and I'm going to move it around the inside here, and we're going to burn this hole out. Instead of doing all this detail work, we're going to burn it out with a nice ember. So follow me. Let's go get her done. Okay, so since this wood is a little bit wet, it's fairly green, I'm going to dry it out just a little bit. Okay, so as you can tell, my coal has burned down quite a bit. Looking here, it's burned down quite a bit through this. Now what's left is for me to shape this into a spoon a little bit more. I can only get so much with the coal. You can't get fine detail work. So I've burned down as far as I want to go, and then the rest of it is just scraping out the ash and trying to shape the bowl. Okay, here we are. So this is my Bushcraft spoon. Plenty deep to put in some corn or whatever I got, or soup. Eat soup out of that. Stir stuff with it. You can see where I got a little bit of char on it from the coal that I set after I dug my little hole. I let it burn down a little bit because ash is easy to cut out. And then that took a little while. And so here's my spoon. It's a little bit long, and that's just fine. I can cut it shorter if I want to, but you always want to have that extra wood at the end just in case something happens. You don't want to have a spoon that's about this short. You may want to, but in general, this is a Bushcraft spoon. This is, I've made these before. Now, I will give you a tip. You always want to, when making a spoon like this, you always want to, or a fork even, you want to use soft wood. This is willow. It's pretty soft. It's a little bit green. Pine would work great, but I would stay away from things like oak or hackberry or hedge. I would stay away from hedge. Any hardwoods, pecan, walnut, they're gonna last a while too, just about as long as this one. But they're gonna be a lot harder. The harder the wood, the more work you're gonna have to put into it. And I will also give you another tip. I brought my hatchet back out just to kind of do some things. Your hatchet can be used for pretty fine detail work. And don't be afraid. You don't have to just whack at things. You can just use that really sharp razor edge to do some detail work here. That's what I've done along here. It's nice and smooth. Not going to get any slivers out of that. And so there we go. Got ourselves a Bushcraft spoon. And that was a lot of fun. That was a whole lot of fun. I'm sweating now. A lot of work, but it was a lot of fun to make a Bushcraft spoon. And yeah, that will be something I use. I'm actually going to use that and throw it maybe in my bag. But so if you got any questions, interested in learning some other things, let me know. But we're going to keep learning here on Tribulation Ready Survival. And so with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.